Ganesha Sharada Gurubhyo Namaha Agajanana Padmarkam Gajananam Aharnisham Anekadam Tam Bhaktanam Ekadantam Vasmahe. Welcome to all for this session on Ganesha Purana to chapter 92 of Upasana Khanda. Vyasa, who was listening to all the stories related to Gajanana so far from Brahma, Chaturmukha Brahma, he heard the story of Kama who had become bodiless, but then with the blessing of Gajanana, he got his body back when he took reincarnation as Pradyumna. And then Shesha, who was rejected by Shiva for his arrogance and broke his head into 1,000 pieces, then, with the blessings from Gajanana, his head has got the strength so that he could able to hold the earth, and he also adored as the ornament on the head of Shiva, and he also became the couch to support Vishnu, and he was also tied around the belly of Gajanana as a belt. So that way, Shesha was also honored. And on listening to all these stories, Vyasa asked Chaturmukha Brahma, "O God, my mind has become exceedingly restless while I have been listening. So tell me another tale about Ganesha." Brahma told him, "Once when the cosmic destruction had occurred, Gajanana gave me an order. O Brahma, at my command produce a creation that has variety. With my mind I then created 7 sons. I will tell you their names: Kashyapa, Gautama, Jamadagni, Vasishtha, Bharadwaja, Atri, and Vishwamitra. The 7 were all skilled in the knowledges, and they all said to me, O Brahma, Lord of gods, please command us." I knew, however, that Kashyapa was wise, and the rest amongst them, and among the rest of them, Kashyapa was the wisest among them. And then give the command, do my job, and create the creation which has variety. After having said Om, he went to the forest to undertake austerities. For 1,000 divine years he recited the single syllable mantra of Ganesha, and then the illustrious Lord Dviradanana became pleased. He had 4 arms, lotus eyes, was adorned with a large diadem, was holding a noose, a hook, a garland, and a tooth in his hand, and he was wearing lovely armlets. His throat was glittering with pearl necklaces containing jewels, precious gems, and gold. On his belly was a serpent, the shining circle of which was flashing like a myriad of suns. His mouth shone, his beautiful tongue was shining radiantly, and his eyes were beaming. Gajanana manifested himself like this before Kashyapa, and his feet were noisy because of the sounds of small bells on his anklets. On seeing that god, Kashyapa danced about full of delight, and after bowing, he worshipped him with many auspicious things. His palms clasped together, he said this to Gajanana, who was very pleased. "O my father," I'm sorry. So it was a eulogy by Kashyapa. "My father, my mother, my austerity, my knowledge, my body, and my sight are now became auspicious, and the earth is auspicious, as are the creeping plants, trees, and flowers. This one syllable mantra is auspicious too, since it has caused me to see the tranquil Lord of all. O Gajanana, the supreme, higher than the highest, the Vedas are stupid concerning him. The Upanishads have been reduced to silence, and he cannot be reached by reasoning. He is the very God whom I have seen. The gods led by Vishnu, Shiva, and Brahma manifest themselves from him, and the 7 hells and the 14 worlds go to destruction in him. He is the very God I have seen. He is the source. He is the overlord of qualities. He is the accessible to teachers. He is without form, and some know him as Brahma. He is the very God I have seen. Brahma continued. Gajanana was wholly satisfied with these ambrosial words, and he spoke to Kashyapa, who was bowing to him and eulogizing him with various eulogies. Ganesha told him, O sage, I have become pleased now because of your devotion, your eulogy, and your personal service. Choose a boon from me and ask for whatever is in your mind. Then Kashyapa told him, O Lord, give me the capability to produce a creation that has variety, devotion upon your lotus feet, and the capacity not to forget them. For you must become visible whenever, and wherever I recollect you. Also, give me a son such that he can be named the joy of Kashyapa. Then Ganesha told him, O great sage, everything you have asked me for will come about. You will never forget your devotion to me, and I will be near you during difficult times. Through my favor, you will produce a creation that has variety. Brahma continued. After he had said this to the sage, the god immediately disappeared from there, and filled with joy, Kashyapa too then returned to his own abode. On one occasion, Kashyapa was unexpectedly afflicted by something incorporeal, and he could not gain relief anywhere. He went into his house, but he could remember neither how to meditate nor the continual, occasional, and optional rituals. Seeing him so distressed in this way, his 14 wives, Diti, Aditi, Danu, Kadru, Vinata, and so on, stood before him, and Kashyapa successively made love to them in their respective houses. In time, as said before, Diti gave birth to many demons, gave birth to the gods and heavenly musicians, and Danu gave birth to Danavas. Then in succession came Kinnaras, Yakshas, perfected ones, wandering birds, Guhyakas, and animals, domestic as well as wild, earth, mountains, trees, oceans, rivers, creepers, grains, minerals, jewels, pearls, worms, ants, snakes, and hosts of birds. Everything moving and unmoving comes from them. On seeing his lineage born with such variety as this, the wise Kashyapa rejoiced and taught many mantras. A 16 syllable one for someone who has paid off a monetary debt, and a 16 syllable one for someone who has perceived the Siddhari Chakra, Siddhari Chakra, the one syllable one to someone, and one with 6 syllable to another, and also 5 syllable, an 8 syllable, and a 12 syllable mantra. To someone else, the bull of sages gave the great mantra. He then said this: You must undertake personal service until the god Gajanana, who is without support, who gives every perfection, becomes visible. This he communicated to them, and then they all went straightway to many places to perform austerities, and each recited his own mantra to the god when sitting, eating, sleeping, and even when they are awake too. With singular devotion, they recollected Gajanana, Lord of gods, and at the end of 1000 divine years, Gajanana was wholly satisfied, and that ocean of compassion who has many forms, manifested himself before them in the particular form of the god a person was meditating upon. So did he appear before him as that. Before one he had a moon-like color and 4 arms, but in front of another Ganeshwara was red with 6 arms, and before another he had 8 huge arms and looked like a cloud, or he had 10 or 12 arms, was smoke colored, huge and powerful, or he had 18 arms and resembled a myriad of suns. To another he had 1,000 eyes and as many arms. He appeared in his real appearance as a child. But he also appeared as a youth or an old man, or he appeared on the back of his rat in a body of a splendid form, or on a lion, or on a peacock, and as having an elephant's face with many mouths. After seeing that God in this for many forms, they all happily eulogized him, their hands clasped in obeisance, bowing devoutly to the god Gajanana. They all said, because of his unlimited power, we are alive and many. From him who is immeasurable and without quality come all the qualities. From him appears all this which is split into a threefold division. We always bow to and revere Ganesha. From this omniscient one, all the universe is manifested as seated on a lotus, pervading everything, the protector of everything. In that way, do we, the gods led by Indra and humans, always bow to and revere Ganesha. From him comes the sun, fire, earth, and water. From him comes ocean, the moon, the heaven, and the atmosphere. From him comes the moving and non moving things and the multitude of trees. We always bow to and revere Ganesha. From him come the Danavas, Kinnaras, the multitudes of Yakshas. From him come the wandering birds and beasts of prey. From him come birds and worms. From him come the plants. We always bow to and revere Ganesha. From him comes intellect, the removal of ignorance for the seeker of liberation. From him comes the riches that will bring satisfaction to devotees. From him comes the destruction of obstacles. From him the completion of tasks. We always bow to and revere Ganesha. From him comes sons and riches. From him cherished goals. From him comes the obstacles to devotees in many forms. From him comes grief and delusion. From him the desire. We always bow to and revere Ganesha. That means everything comes from the Ganesha himself. From him comes unlimited power, and Shesha, who became capable of assuming many shapes to hold up the earth. From him comes the many heavens for humans. We always bow to and revere Ganesha. From him comes the words of Vedas, which are blunted in the mind, which always proclaim he is not this, he is not that. Him, the supreme Brahma, his real appearance, intellect, and bliss, his being, we always bow to and revere Ganesha. Thus ends the chapter 92 of Upasana Khanda of the glorious Ganesha Purana, in which we have seen once Ganesha told Brahma, Chaturbaka Brahma, to create a variety of creations, and in response to that, Brahma created his Manasaputras, the sons from his mind, which goes on from Kashyapa to Vasishtha, Atri, Vishwamitra, and various others. And then among them he found Kashyapa was the most wisest among them, and Chaturmukha Brahma ordered Kashyapa to create variety of beings. Kashyapa then married to multiple women, Diti, Aditi, Kadru, Vinata, and others who were all the daughters of Daksha. And then Kashyapa could able to mate with them and gave birth to variety of beings, and to all those different varieties of beings, depending on their quality, depending on their strength, depending on their capabilities, he gave them different mantras of Gajanana having different number of syllables. And all those new creations, they went and propitiate to Gajanana, reciting his different mantras with great austerity. And when the Lord Gajanana appeared before them, they all together submit their eulogies. Namaste Sharada Devi, Kashmir Puravasini, Twamaham Prarthaye Nityam, Vidya Danancha Dehime. Goodbye.